My name is Erin Lindauer, and you're listening to A Life Without Struggle. I'm a wife, a mother of 2 wonderful children, a 2-time best-selling author, and a highly driven and successful entrepreneur. In my 17-plus year career as a mindset and health expert, I know what holds women back from a life you only dream about. Whether you're a CEO, a businesswoman, or executive, I started this podcast because I have been where you are, and I know you want and deserve more out of your life. I believe women are limitless. We just get lost along the way. The process to get you there is the topic and purpose of this podcast. When you understand what you want, you can truly step into a life without struggle. Welcome, and I'm so thankful you're here. Welcome back to another episode of Life Without Struggle. My name is Erin Lindauer, and today we're going to go into a topic around what is there to gain by working out. So today we're going to make this very just tactical, and here's exactly why you would want to resistance train, progressively resistance train, and just all the reasons why you would want to do this. This is a really important part of someone's overall health and wellness journey, and it's something that I actually have women hold and pause on when they first start in a weight loss journey with me, but then we absolutely have to work into this journey. Another important thing to note about this journey is just like losing weight and getting uncomfortable, being in a caloric deficit, resistance training is going to make you uncomfortable. And I want to speak into a lot of nuances around why we do want to resistance train. Why is this a good thing for us? And hopefully inspire you to either A, when appropriate, add this into your health journey. But then also, if you have been resistance training, I want to encourage you how we have to adapt, how we have to change. Can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and why it's so important to have different progressions and different loads and different rep schemes. And so anyways, today I'm really excited because there is so much to gain literally from strength training and working out. And so specifically, I am speaking into the actual resistance training where you're either using dumbbells, kettlebells, barbells, TRXs, and cable-driven systems as well, and why that's a good thing. Bands are another good one. And so it's really important to have just different stimulus, and increasing your weight is a good thing, obviously doing it appropriately. And so today I want to dig into this topic here because strength training really will change your body. I talk about this all the time with women that, hey, yes, we do need to get the fat off your body. And so how we do that, reasonably speaking, is with an appropriate caloric deficit, meaning how many calories do you burn in a day versus how many calories do you take in. Typically, I recommend, eating 3 solid meals a day, really focusing on the protein side of things, and then absolutely moving your body through walking. I know that all sounds so simple, but that's what it takes. And we have to do it time and time again. But then there are other pieces that need to come into play in an overall health and wellness journey, and just healthy aging, just getting the certain look. For most women, when I talk with them about what do they desire, what do they want, so many of them can absolutely describe they want toned arms, they want toned thighs, butt, stomach. And to achieve that, you are going to have to do some form of resistance training and have some sort of progressive overload. And so you may be like, okay, I don't know what that means. And that's all good. And that's why I want to share this info here today, because what we have to think about is we need to increase muscle mass. We have to increase muscle mass and strength, because what this does is when we strength train, we stimulate the muscle or the hypertrophy, the growth, by causing what's called a microscopic tear in the muscle fiber. And then basically what happens is our body repairs and we grow stronger. And so this is going to lead to an increased muscle mass and strength over time. And so you may be like, wait a minute, you're going to do microscopic tears? Yes. This is when you feel that soreness. Oh my gosh, that tightness you feel. That is where you've done the micro trauma. And then here's what's even more important is the recovery side. And so here's the thing, if you're always sore and feeling super inflamed, that's not a good thing. If there's a day or two of soreness and then by the third day you're feeling really good again, super, super normal. And so what we want to think about is during recovery, what are we doing to help ourselves recover? Typically, what I recommend is fueling your body really well, because here's the thing. If we go and do this amazing workout, create this micro trauma to the muscle fiber, and then we go and put fast food or that are highly inflammatic or causing a lot of inflammation in our body, maybe we don't sleep, maybe we abuse alcohol, maybe we're under heavy amounts of stress. And it's very, very challenging for our body to repair appropriately. And so that's where this isn't just about the resistance training, it's also about the recovery side of things. So a lot of times what I recommend is fueling your body really well, putting good macronutrients into your body, your protein, your carbs, your fat, and more whole, real food than processed, boxed, that kind of thing. And then also focusing on sleep, focusing on water, and focusing on the gentle movements, such as just simply going for a walk and getting good circulation, good blood flow. And that really helps us recover. So many times when I have someone say, I'm just so sore, I'm like, hey, if you move around, you're going to feel better. Not go run a marathon, but you're going to feel so much better if you can just simply get a good walk in, get good blood flow. The other thing that you want to think about with strength training is you're going to improve your metabolism. So muscle tissue burns more calories at rest than fat does. So by increasing your muscle mass through strength training, you can boost your metabolism and then recompose your body. So meaning you'll drop fat, you'll add lean tissue, which is a good thing. Sometimes the scale isn't what really matters. Now, I will say more times than not, we need to see the scale go down, but then there does come a point in a weight loss journey that it's okay if that scale goes up because we're actually putting lean tissue on. The other things to think about, and this is especially for women, is bone health. So when you're doing weight-bearing exercises like strength training, it's going to maintain or increase your bone density. And this reduces our risk for osteoporosis, fractures, especially as we're aging. So that's another big one that I know isn't sexy to talk about, but I've even seen clients go from being in osteopenia, which is the front side of osteoporosis. I've seen them in osteopenia, and over time, they were able to get out of it by simply strength training. And we're talking strength training 2 days a week. So the other things along those sides is you're going to have better joint health and flexibility. You're basically going to strengthen all the muscles around your joints. And so it's going to improve joint stability. It reduces your risk of injuries or falling. And it also will help keep good range of motion so that, you can keep your body moving in a very good and efficient manner. Also, it's just going to help you with every day, like whether you're just doing everyday tasks, like I always laugh, but carrying in the groceries in one trip. I mean, who's with me, right? And that takes strength, or just climbing stairs, taking care of children, grandchildren, right? The other thing too to think about is your posture. I know as I've gotten stronger over the years, sitting upright and just as a normal, you don't realize how deficient or weak your core is until you start strength training. You start really developing your core. And I don't mean just your front side, your abdominals, but your obliques, your back. And when you get stronger, it's cool. You'll even notice in your car, you sit taller, which is a good thing. And the other things too to note on this is just, better management of chronic conditions. So different things such as heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, and even obesity can be improved by just simply having muscle strength. You'll have better insulin sensitivity and just overall cardiovascular health. This is all from resistance training and what there is to gain by doing this day in and day out. And then let alone all the mental benefits. I mean, exercise just can reduce your anxiety, your feelings of depression and stress. I mean, I cannot tell you how many workouts I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. But after it's done, holy moly, how much better I feel. And just getting a good sweat in, getting some good range of motion in, and maybe I didn't have a personal best, but I still got what was good enough. And it definitely has set the stage for my day, right? The other thing to think about too is if you enjoy doing recreational sports, if you golf, if you play pickleball, anything, having good strength and having a strength training program is only going to allow you to continue to perform well into, aging years. And I would be remiss if I didn't say it's going to help with just your overall longevity and quality of life. I mean, I think this is one of the most important things as we age, to have some form of physicality to ourselves. I mean, we have trained historically clients who are well into their 80s, and it's perfectly healthy, and it's a good thing for them to continue to keep just quality of life, being able to care for themselves, being able to get up off of the floor. I mean, that is a big one, right? So I wanted to share just all of these benefits, but I also want to speak into what is there to gain. So yes, these were all things, but let's also talk about some more tangible, like why on earth? Like, of course, we all know these things. I probably didn't rattle something that you didn't already know. But on the flip side, when we strength train, I mean, can we just talk about being a female and feeling strong? That has been something for myself personally that I love feeling strong. I love being able to lift, move things. What resistance training has done for myself is just really build my confidence. I feel confident when I have to pick something up at the grocery store or if I'm helping my husband do a project. But then I also just feel good in my own skin that I can hold my own or at least put up a decent fight, right? And so I think as women, there was a time and space where we were to be dainty and pretty. And I will tell you, there's nothing sexier than looking at a woman who resistance trained. And what's interesting is as the weather turned warmer here, I'm physically located in Indiana, and I started to wear shorts. And I said to my husband, I was like, keep catching people looking at my legs. And he was like, well, yeah, because they're muscular. And I was like, well, it's kind of weird. And he goes, well, it's because you lift. And I was like, I gotcha, but man, and it almost has become a game now. Like I literally can watch someone's eyes go burp, burp. And, now I just kind of like laugh it off because I'm like, yeah, what? I am a muscular, female. I'm not very tall. So like I was built to lift. But it's one of those things where I feel really good knowing how toned things look. And this takes time. In this journey, this is something where I share this with women that resistance training is something we're going to do for the rest of our life. It is something that every single week you're going to want to have 2 to 3 workouts that you do that are dedicated solely to progressive overload, to resistance training, using dumbbells, using kettlebells, potentially getting into barbells or machines or cable-driven machines. And it's something that as we age, you're going to continue to do. What's interesting though, in the whole health and fitness space and workout space is someone is always trying to invent something. And here's where I want to put a little bit of caution out there is sticking to the basics of push, press. When you think of your movements, when you're working out in the gym, you're going to have push movements, you're going to have pull movements, and you're going to have pressing and then a hinge. And those are really it. All this stuff of dancing around and funky music and people yelling at you to get different splat points, that stuff is actually not my favorite, but it can actually push you in a way that isn't beneficial. And so you want to really understand, what is the rhyme and reason? What is the purpose behind this workout? Am I working on hypertrophy? Am I just doing 100 reps of something? Guess what? You're going to, on the 101 rep, you're probably going to get injured. So it's really important to understand that there is going to be a threshold when it comes to how much should I do. And less is always going to be more when it comes to a resistance training. You cannot do 100 reps unless there was something specific. Like we've done a few different times, kettlebell swings up to 100 to 200. And again, there's rhyme and reason and purpose and why we're actually doing it, more from a cardiovascular standpoint, less as a strength standpoint. So everything should be able to be explained as to why you need to do what you're doing. And so you want to ask yourself, okay, what is the purpose of you doing strength training? What can you gain from it? For myself, I know it's a confidence. I feel really good in my own skin. I love being able to move heavy weight, and it helps me know that I'm strong, I'm capable, I can do things if needed. And it's just a really important characteristic that I didn't know what I didn't know until I started gaining strength. I was a crazy runner all my life. All I ever did was run. And from an aesthetic look, I was skinny, but I definitely didn't have the different curves, the tonality to my body. And I will tell you, seeing my body here in my 40s, I'm actually more confident, more proud. And it's just taken time and having a different understanding of, okay, what can your body actually do? For most women, this message I want to give is you are way stronger than you ever realized, but you have to build yourself up appropriately. You have to make sure your form is on point. And then you also want to make sure that you're recovering adequately, that you're fueling your body well, that your sleep is just as important as that workout is. I always joke, certain workouts have you in bed by 9, but there's a reason. Deadlifting is one for me that I can move a fair amount of weight, but it will absolutely have me in bed by 9 o'clock. And that's a good thing. So you want to ask yourself, what is there to gain from any point of a weight loss journey? Like, what are you going to gain? Because what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the positive piece of this. Some of you may say, I don't want to get into a strength training workout because I can't commit the time. And I'm going to tell you that's fair, but at some point, something's got to give. We've got to figure out how this can align in your schedule. A lot of times we just need to go to bed earlier and we need to get up just a little bit earlier and knock it out first thing. I don't know about you guys, but I feel so much better when I start my day after resistance training, and I find it more challenging when I have to do it later in the afternoon and certainly into the evening. I definitely don't lift like I would first thing in the morning. So you have to figure out, how is this going to fit in your life? And it has to become something that you do for the rest of your life. It's not just this healthy stint that you went through. And here's the thing, knock on wood, everyone is safe and healthy listening to this. But if you find yourself working through something's, got tweaked, maybe injured, we could say, you've got to work through it. You cannot just stop. You want to understand, okay, what actually did happen? And then how do I keep working through it? It's just the same when someone has surgery, maybe on a shoulder, a knee, a hip. They don't just let you sit, they get you into physical therapy. And so there's an appropriate way to recover and move your body, but it's a really important thing. A body in motion stays in motion, a body at rest stays at rest. So we need to keep our bodies moving and in motion. And so I cannot express how important strength training is. It's something I don't talk about enough because I feel like we focus so much on weight loss, which is really, really important. I think first and foremost, you get the weight off of your body. I can tell you, every client begs me to get into resistance training, and I'm always hesitant because we've got to get one thing down. And then when you work out, you have to understand how to appropriately fuel your body with the increase of calorie burn. And we also think we burn way more calories than we actually do in those workouts. So I hope this has been helpful to kind of talk through all these benefits. What is there to gain? But I can't think of a better, outside of the health benefits, but just when you feel confident in your own skin, when your arms are showing the definition, when your legs are toned, and you have the strength that, should you find yourself in a situation, you would be able to handle it. For me, this is just everything. So I want to challenge you to ask yourself, what is there to gain? And let's get after it. Strength training every single week.